All right, guys, today is Tuesday, September 25th, a brand new day, and things are getting spicy. Well, they already are spicy. They're already just spicing up even more right now. Last week, crazy spikes. Yesterday, crazy spikes. And you can add today into the crazy spike world as well. We haven't seen a lot of big time rips, a lot of big time movement, and a lot of big time activity. This is the market we love. This is the market we like. If you guys made profit, you deserve it. If you did not make profit, who cares? Because you guys are getting the hottest market there is. So you guys are going to be able to, be able to have your chance any moment now. Very, very exciting. So let's talk about today. Let's talk about some of the best breakouts. Let's talk about some stocks that have gone on some big time rips, and talk about what could be coming on up. Personally, I did not trade this morning. I had my trade yesterday. If you guys watched the recap video from yesterday, I made $2,100. No trades for me this morning. I do have funds available. Why didn't I have a trade this morning? Well, let's dive in and talk about that right now. So, kicking off today, we had CEI. CEI was one of the best plays overnight for an overnight swing. We actually voted on this play yesterday. It was one of our swing trades for overnight. If you guys go over to Swing Chat. We already also talked about it this morning on CEI in our morning newsletter. 39 million in float on this masterpiece chart pattern. This stock broke its 50-day moving average at 28 cents, which brought in great volume in Power Hour. 28 cents will now hold as the support line if we see selling. This stock has room to run up to the 200-day moving average at 123. Right now, we are seeing a 52% gap up and a big 50-cent resistance. But guess what happened? If we look over in pre-market, this thing actually got a beautiful squeeze after I sent this out, and it got a nice rip right from 50 cents all the way on up towards 73 cents. So CEI was just beasting. Now, why did the stock have this gap up? Does it have any sort of news? No, it does not have any sort of news towards it. So why is the stock having this move? Because it does have a masterpiece pattern, guys. We've talked about this before in the past, and I want you guys knowing what this is. I want you guys to know this chart setup. It is so, so crucial. So make sure you guys get into the video library and study the masterpiece pattern. We have a whole lesson on that. But with that being said, if you guys don't know what it is, basically simple enough. We have a great past chart spike. Great past chart spike right here. The stock comes back on down. It gets very low on the RSI. Then the stock builds higher lows, gets a squeeze, and gets a nice pop. The past chart spike shows that the stock can move or go on a very nice rip. That gets people excited. The low RSI shows that the stock is more on the oversold part. The higher lows, it shows that buyers are coming back, and the break of resistance shows strength. The stock also has room to run. Something that is very similar was GBR. Big time spike in the past, come on down. Low RSI, broke resistance, got a nice spike yesterday as well. Again, another great masterpiece pattern. But CEI today was a stock that really was able to carry out with this good momentum, get that nice big gap up, get that nice big rip. Now, CEI, this was our first alert on the day. And where was it alerted? This was alerted on a red to green move. And that's what we're looking for. Again, the red to green move alert was for the break of the open at 66 cents with a sell target at 74 cents, which was the high of the day, which we nailed absolutely perfectly. Now, why did we put 74 cents, guys? Because we know 75 cents was very tough resistance. Not only is 75 cents natural resistance, but 75 cents was also pre-market high. And it's always a great area to lock in something at a strong resistance, such as pre-market high, in case the stock falls. And as you can see, this area right here is where the stock could not break out of. The selling volume came in, and that's where the stock never was able to get its spike back on up. It never had a chance after that. So CEI was an awesome play, masterpiece pattern, great swing trade overnight, got a nice squeeze from 50 cents, ripped all the way up to 75 cents. This morning had a beautiful red to green move. What we call the red to green move is breaking the open. We're going red from underneath the open to now green, because I know there's always some person that's always like, a red to green move is the previous close of yesterday and breaking it. Okay, what I like to do is, again, the break of the open. The break of the open going from the downside to the upside, the red side to the green side. That's where we see some nice big buying volume, and that's where I always like to look for a nice entry. So CEI, 66 cents, right up to 74 cents. That was our first alert on the day, which is absolutely great. Now, that stock has fallen down since, has not been able to get that big time rip, has not been able to get that big time pop. Ever since that 74 cent, 75 cent mark of pre-market, and it has just been fading since then. Other than that, what else did we see? JAGX. JAGX came out with a press release this morning talking about announcing a strategic partnership. Now, a strategic partnership is something great. A strategic partnership brings in a lot of good attention. A strategic partnership brings in a lot of big hype. And that's where JAGX did what this morning? Again, another great red to green move. As the stock fell underneath its open, made a nice U-shaped pattern to the upside, broke the open, and where did it run up to? Right up towards around a high of 181. Why did the stock start falling around this area? We look at the daily chart and we see the 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average is right around this area, right around 185. So people started selling before that resistance line. And as you guys see in the past, you come up towards the 200-day moving average, you fall back down. You come up to the 50-day moving average, you fall back down. We come up to the 200-day moving average, we come back on down. It's a very tough resistance line, detailed resistance. So that's why that's getting held up on JAGX. Now, with that being said, what was my favorite play today? I didn't want to get in on CEI because I have limited funds and I want to make sure I'm waiting for the best play. JAGX is known for these big upper shadows, which is known to give a lot back. So I didn't really like that one too much, but I do like the strategic partnership and the red to green move. My personal favorite play of the day today was AMRN. And AMRN, I still think this is the best play today. And I still think you have another 55 cents on this play until you hit, some very strong resistance of $15, right? This could get all the way up towards that $15 mark today. And why is that? Because this stock came out with a great press release yesterday on AMRN talking about meeting its primary endpoints on its study. Meeting primary endpoints is one of the best keywords you guys can find in a press release. Meets primary endpoints. It did its job. It accomplished what it wanted to accomplish. It hit its goal. So when you have meets its primary endpoints, expect a lot of big movement. And that's where this stock went from 290 and popped all the way up towards a high around $10. It opened up there. Now, yesterday, it didn't really do too much until the last about 2 hours of the day, where it started bringing some good volume and some good hype. And what we have here is you can see it kind of just went sideways, 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 and then it started bringing some good hype right in. Like, why did I not get in on AMRN? Why did I not get in on AMRN when AMRN, it was my favorite play today? I've been talking about AMRN since the price of what, like $12.75? Since the price of $12.75, actually right here, because this is when I was talking about the arch. I didn't want to buy in at this break of $13 because this stock was arching. And what did I really want to get in? I wanted to get in on a bounce of this trend line. Why did I want to get in on a bounce of this trend line? Because the stock bounced here, and the stock bounced here, and this morning the stock bounced here, and yesterday the stock bounced here, and yesterday the stock bounced here and bounced here. So this was the trend line that carried over from yesterday, here, 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 all these bounces, and I wanted to get a bounce right here. Or I wanted this to come back down and bounce right here. And every time I was about to try to pull the trigger here, didn't get there just yet. And I was going to try to pull the trigger right here, just didn't get there yet. And then the stock just started moving from there. And every time it kind of came close to the trend line, it just got really overextended now. Now the stock's, way up there. I'm not upset about this play at all. I'm not upset that I couldn't get in on this play. But at the same time, it's just like I was so close to getting in on the trend line. I still believe this is kind of still the main head honcho trend line. If it comes back to the trend line, this is still a great, easy bounce play, I believe. So even if for a quick scalp, if I can hop in, let's say with 1,000 shares, I could definitely make a few $100s on this. I think if it comes back down to, let's say, 1330, bounce to the trend line, I could get back up towards at least 1375, make a quick 450 bucks. I think AMRN, that'd be a great little, bounce play. So I'm still watching this trend line as my main bounce play when the stock ultimately does come back on down. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. But if I'm late towards it, I don't want to chase. If the stock has gone on a nice run, hey, I applaud the people who nailed it, but it's not for me then. And that's what it really comes down to. Having the discipline and understanding what's worth going after and what's not worth going after. AMRN, my game plan is to play the trend line. Unfortunately, did not hit the trend line, and the stock kept moving on up. Now the stock is still doing a great play. I love AMRN. I think it's an awesome move. I think it's a great press release. I think you guys could be seeing $15. But buying right now at $14.50, I'm not exactly sure if it's going to continue right up to $15 right now or if we are going to see a pullback. So where's my predictability that I see is still at this trend line bounce, where I think I could bang out an extra 50 cents or so on a trend line bounce. And that's what I'm going to be waiting for, because I don't want to, leave my money up to chance. I don't want to gamble here. Now, we could have gambled today. We could have looked for a big gamble today. What was the big gamble today? EDRY? That was the gamble play of the day, right? This is the one where basically emotions in the stock market was able to make this stock go on a big time pop. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by emotions in the stock market was able to go on a big time pop? Well, let's kind of scroll back right here. EDRY, whenever you see something along these lines, guys, just be really prepared for it. If we see a stock with no volume, no volume, no volume, no volume, no volume, and then we start seeing a stock slowly start creeping, slowly start making a little bit of a move, and we start coming up to a strong resistance line, such as $9, where it couldn't break here, have a whole bunch of like upper shadow, messy chaos over here. In the market we're in, EDRY could easily explode. EDRY could easily go on a nice pop. Look at it. It's a 1 million in float stock. The stock is going to have low volume. Okay, so what does that mean? So that means if big volume moves into it, it could easily pop on off. And on top of that, EDRY is going to have a larger spread. So if we look at EDRY, it's going to have a 50-cent spread. So with that being said, in the market we're in right now, any sort of buying that goes into this play is going to jump the stock up 50 cents. So it's going to shoot up in a very quick manner because of the low float, because of the low spread, because of the low volume. So a big volume moves in on a low volume play. Now it's very hot on a low float play, which could easily move on a stock with a spread. It could easily pop. What's going to happen? It goes up very, very quick. Now, with this being said, I personally tried to look for the first pop. I tried to get in right here at 1020. I couldn't. It got halted. Got halted right away. Couldn't get filled. Now I'm late. The stock got halted. I got unhalted. It went from 1050 right up to like 1160 within the matter of what, like 3 seconds. And then it got halted again. Then the stock came up towards 1258 and shot on up towards 1378 and got halted again. And when we're seeing halt after halt after halt, eventually people are going to kind of get a little tired of it. But EDRY, why did this one shoot up so easily? Why did this one spike so easily? Because people are looking for what? The next big supernova. Yesterday, what did we have? SAEX. The stock went from $8, shot up to $31. People see EDRY go on this sort of move, and people are saying, "Oh, SAEX, the SAEX ran up to $33 yesterday from $8." People are looking at EDRY, and now people are saying EDRY, this one's going up to $30. People are saying, "No, SAEX isn't. EDRY can't do that." Yeah, yeah, it is. Look at even ALT went from $4 and spiked all the way up to $36. That was the day before. Look at, and now EDRY is the low float stock, and that one's going to spike all the way up to $30. So now what? Now traders are getting emotional, saying, "Oh, EDRY, that's the one that's going to spike from $9 all the way up to $30. SAEX did it, and then and then ALT did it, and then also the NBEV did that over before, and then we also had NLST the other day go on a big time rip, and we also had TLRY, that one spiked $300. Oh yeah, and then we also had IGC, and that one went on a very big climb today, the other day as well. And so like what's going on now is it's good. It's nothing bad about it, but we're seeing a lot of emotions. A lot of traders are so hooked on the fact that everything's breaking out that even for stocks that maybe don't have a reason to break out, they're just ripping and running because that's what traders want it to do, right? When we're in the slow markets and everyone's hesitant and everyone's scared, what happens? Stocks don't rip as hard because people are hesitant and people are scared. Right now, what type of market are we in? We're in the type of market where everyone is just, blood hungry for stock money, right? Where people are just like, I'm buying, right? And everyone just attacking every little thing they see. We went from 2 months ago of everyone saying, "Sir, can I please, buy a little bit? I'm a little nervous." So now it's just like, I'm buying everything I see, right? And that's kind of in the market that we are in right now, where every little low float stock that gets a lot of hype, the emotion behind it is, "Oh my gosh, this is going up to $30. I need to buy more, 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 more," which is leading to more stocks spiking, spiking, spiking. Now, if you understand that, you can definitely make money on it. If you're the type of trader who says, "Oh, this is going up to $30, you're probably going to be the trader that ends up losing. But if you're the type of trader who says, "This is spiking right now because emotions are behind it. If this starts falling, I need to lock in my profit," then you could be very profitable. There's nothing wrong with playing EDRY if you're in on this play. But there's a lot wrong on EDRY if you start buying at, $14, $15, thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to be rich. I'm not going to sell this until it hits $30." That's when you're going to get in trouble, right? We're going to see pumps. We're going to see dumps nearly every day in the stock market. You can make money off them. You can. You can make money off them. You guys just have to understand there's going to be, there's definitely going to be consequences if you continue to hold on to it, if you don't realize you're in some sort of pump right here. Again, I'm not in on EDRY at all today. I did not buy that stock at all today. I did not make any sort of profit on that play. We were watching this play. It went from $9. It shot on up to 10.20. I tried to buy at 10.20, didn't get filled at all. And again, it ripped all the way up to 14 bucks, which is awesome. But the last thing I'm ever going to do is chase this type of play, right? Best play today was AMRN. Also we saw today was VIOT, which I know a lot of you guys looked at today. And why VIOT? Because it's newer IPO stock, and we haven't seen some IPOs go on some pretty big rips and some pretty big climbs, right? So a lot more on the risky side. A lot more on the risky side. Whenever you see an IPO, there's not really any 50-day moving average, 200-day moving average, 13 EMA. And why is that? Because the stock's only 1 day old. It doesn't have a 50-day moving average, a 200-day moving average, 13 EMA. It doesn't have any of that. So it does make the stock pretty risky. But I know some people like to take a little bit of a chance on that. Me, again, I'm not a huge fan of IPOs. I don't really like to gamble my salary. I'm here to make money. I've been doing this last 4 years. I've made over 6 figures, trading penny stocks this year alone, as you know. And that's just because why? So I try to stick with the most credible. I try to stick with the most consistent. Now, if I see a big time rip, let's say on ALT, am I going to pull the trigger on it? Absolutely. If I see a big time rip on SAEX, am I going to pull the trigger on it? Absolutely. If I see EDRY and I can get in early, like I try to get in at 10.20, if I can get in, that's awesome. But I'm not going to chase it at 14 bucks right here. Maybe we could look for another U-shaped pattern. Watch the videos from yesterday as what happens. Well, let's take a little bit of a look on this. Let's talk about this for a second over on EDRY. Right? Let's take a moment right here. Because we can't say EDRY is done. We can't. Is it risky? Absolutely. But we can't say it's done. Because if we go back, and I'm actually going to show you guys this right here. I'm going to turn off this symbol linking right here. Now, this is a little early, but what have we been seeing? A lot. And what do I mean by this? We have EDRY right here. Let me switch back to about let me go a 5-minute time frame. EDRY is starting to spike randomly right now. But let's look back at SAEX. Okay, and let's look back to SAEX. Let's just see what we have right here. Okay, and then let's go back to ALT, and let's just switch this to a 5-minute time frame right here. What have we been seeing on these supernova breakouts? Okay, so each one of these guys, what do they all have in common? ALT started its morning with a spike. After its spike, it fell, made a U shape, broke out, and went on a ginormous $10 run. SAEX went on a morning spike, fell back down, formed a U shape pattern, came back on up, and went on a ginormous $10 spike. EDRY went on a quick morning spike, coming on down, starting to form a U-shaped pattern, and possibly again could go on another ginormous spike. It's not guaranteed, but ALT, low float stock that did this 2 days ago, ran up to 30 bucks. SAEX, low float stock that did this yesterday, ran all the way up above 30 bucks. Not saying EDRY is going to do this 100%, but it's something we should be aware of. It's something that we should be noticing. It's something that we got to be looking at. So if ALT did it, SAEX did it, and now people are emotionally controlling the stock. Because again, people are the one who controls plays. People are the ones who make these patterns happen. That's where we could really start seeing these plays. We could start, finding a lot of predictability in these markets, right? So let's see what could possibly happen. Now, EDRY is doing this a little too early. SAEX, I will say SAEX did this at around 1 o'clock, 1:45, right? SAEX did around 1:45. ALT did around 1:45. EDRY is trying a U-shaped pattern at 11:30. This is a little bit earlier. That's the big difference right now. The big difference right now. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on this play. Keep our eyes peeled on this play. But just want to show you guys the similarities, talk about some of the best gainers today, talk about some of these stocks, and obviously go from there. But very happy for the people who locked in their profits again today, guys. You guys have been killing it. I really don't even need to show it, but look at this. A lot of you guys made some big time money on EDRY, which is great, $3,000 there. And then a lot of you guys made some big time money on the overnight swing on CEI, which is absolutely beautiful. So shout out to all you guys as always. for making that big time bank. We'll keep our eyes peeled the rest of the day, see what's coming on up. I do have funds available. I'm ready to rock and roll. Keeping my eyes peeled on, my favorite play, AMRN, and then I'm for the bounce play that could be coming up on this trend line. And then I'm also keeping my eyes peeled, as you guys know, on EDRY just to see what that one's going to do. I highly, highly doubt I'm going to be buying that one because I want to save my funds for AMRN, which I've been saying. But EDRY is still a fun one to look at. And hey, if you're confident and you think you can get a nice little scalp on it, then definitely keep your eyes peeled on it. Not for beginner traders, only experienced traders if you guys are interested on that.